Chapter 31, Ran Away. You are listening at novelfold.audio. The Taoist priest in yellow stiffened. Can turned around, looked at Zhang Yun and said with a smile, This fellow Taoist from Lingxian sect, you see, I have no grudge against you, old Taoist. I just want to leave now. You. No grudges, but did you see me killing them? Zhang Yun smiled and pointed at the bodies of the three great elders of the Nanshan sect. Huang Laodao's mouth twitched. Damn it, I didn't look scared when you just killed someone. Fellow Taoist, although I am not a top expert, I have been immersed in the realm of the peak of the golden elixir stage for many years. If you really fight for your life, you may not get a good deal. Huang Laodao immediately spoke in a deep voice. Then try it. Zhang Yun shrugged, his eyes already running the immortal eye technique. Huang Laodao, realm, peak of golden elixir stage, combat skills practiced, summoning souls back to the flag, medium soul control techniques, weapon, soul control flag, spiritual weapon, number of controlled souls, 26 beast souls, including 3 golden elixir stage beast souls. When released together, they can explode into peak strength comparable to the golden elixir stage. Weaknesses. First, because he majors in soul control and aura, his body is relatively weak and he is afraid of continuous close combat, so he can fight hand to hand. Second, attack the left arm when summoning the soul. This is the life gate. The fourth. So many weaknesses. Zhang Yun was surprised. He has also encountered more than one Jindan stage, and this is the first time he has seen so many weaknesses. This shows that although the other party has reached the realm, he has not cultivated well overall. Of course, it has nothing to do with him. What concerned him most was that the flag in the opponent's hand turned out to be a spiritual weapon. In the immortal continent, there are many types of weapons, but it is recognized that the most common and commonly used ones are sharp weapons and spiritual weapons. However, most monks can use sharp weapons, and the sword used by Zhang Yun falls into this category. Compared with sharp weapons, spiritual weapons are of a higher level. The spiritual weapon is made of special materials. When the monk uses it, he can blend his own spiritual energy with it and exert its maximum power. However, the materials for casting spiritual weapons are rare in Nanyuan Prefecture, so spiritual weapons are very rare in Nanyuan Prefecture. Just one handful would be worth tens of thousands of spirit stones. I didn't expect that the old Taoist priest in front of me actually had one. Young people today are becoming more and more arrogant. I will teach you a lesson today. Huang Laodao seemed to be irritated by Zhang Yun's indifferent attitude. He heard Zhang Yun shout loudly and violently waved the yellow flag in his hand. Suddenly, a large amount of spiritual energy filled the flag. Roar. Ouch. Baa ba ba. Just listen to the roars of spirit beasts coming from the command flag, and the beast power released makes the air around become slightly depressed for a moment. Today, I'm going to teach you, a young man who doesn't know the heights of the world, a lesson. Huang Laodao shouted in a deep voice. Zhang Yun's eyes narrowed slightly, and the energy in his palms surged, ready to attack, but the next second, brush. I saw Huang Laodao, who was about to burst out and rush towards me a second ago, but this second he suddenly turned around, ran. Zhang Yun's expression froze. Immediately the corners of his mouth twitched. Damn it, let's put this on. He immediately took Qingyuan steps and chased after him, but the old Taoist priest was also extremely fast. He looked like he was always running away, and he had already rushed into a nearby cave passage in a few seconds. Roar. Zhang Yun wanted to catch up, but suddenly a beast roar came from the front, and he saw a black tiger soul roaring towards him. He raised his hand and punched out. Pang. The black tiger's soul exploded on the spot, but the dispersed soul energy suddenly spurted out a large black mist. Zhang Yun's expression changed, and when he reacted, his eyes were covered in black mist. Ahem. After choking twice, Zhang Yun quickly released his spiritual energy to disperse the black mist, but the black fog dissipated, and Huang Laodao who rushed into the cave passage was nowhere to be seen. MD, what an insidious old man. Zhang Yun cursed in a low voice, looked at the cave entrance where the other party escaped, and after thinking about it, he still didn't pursue him. There were many cave passages around the cave heaven in front of him, and the one he brought his disciple to was just one of them. Looking at this posture, it is estimated that every passage is an exit. If you can't find the exit later, you can look into these cave passages. As for Huang Laodao's escape, let's run away. At worst, the news reaches Nanshan sect. The head of the Nanshan sect has joined forces with the Lin family to kill him. They are already hostile, and he doesn't care about adding another revenge. Master, seeing that the battle was over, Su Ming and the two came closer. They were not timid, but Zhang Yun had told them to stay away beforehand and were not allowed to get close until the battle was over. Now leaning closer, the two apprentices looked at their master with admiration in their eyes. Too strong. Their master is so powerful. That was the great elder of the Nanshan sect, a peak cultivator at the Golden Core stage, and he was actually killed by Zhang Yun on the spot. Although Zhang Yun had killed several Jindan stage experts from the Lin family before, they had not witnessed it with their own eyes. Now that I really see it, I understand how powerful their master in the foundation building stage is. Stop being stuck, pick up the tools and come with me to dig for the elixir, Zhang Yun said, already walking towards the medicine field. Su Ming and the two men immediately took out their tools and followed. This time when they were coming to Nanfeng Forest, Zhang Yun specially equipped himself and his two apprentices with a set of herb-picking tools, which were now in use. Ming'er, don't dig it up directly. Your Ganoderma lucidum needs to be wrapped with spiritual energy first, otherwise the root will be exposed to the air and the medicinal power will be lost quickly. Little fatty, stop it. You can't pull out the century-old upside-down flower directly in front of you. You have to dig up the soil around it from left to right, otherwise the roots of the flower will be hurt. That while Zhang Yun was digging for the elixir, he kept talking while watching the two apprentices manipulate it. Listening to Zhang Yun talking about various elixir harvesting methods, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng became more and more admired. Their master is not only very powerful, but he also has such a thorough understanding of elixirs. He is truly a master. Scent. This time it really happened. Zhang Yun looked at the 100-year-old elixir that had entered the storage ring one after another, as if he had seen a mountain of spiritual stones waving to him. With these elixirs, are you still worried about lacking spiritual stones in the future? Call. After digging out all the elixirs in the field, Zhang Yun exhaled, and then his eyes fell on the two-story small building in the center of the place. I felt a little wary. As soon as he started digging for the elixir, he was alert. Although they saw Huang Laodao, the grand elder of Nanshan sect and others, they may not have released the puppet earlier. There must be articles in this small building. Zhang Yun slowly approached Xiao Zhu. Seeing this, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng quickly followed. This elegant little building seemed to have been covered in dust for a long time, with a thick layer of dust covering the door. Zhang Yun did not directly step forward and push the door open, but came out from the market room with a burst of spiritual energy from a distance of 3 meters. Crunch. The spiritual energy was like a strong wind, pushing open Xiaozhu's wooden door. Brush. The moment the wooden door was pushed open, a sharp blade suddenly protruded from it, and the released spiritual energy directly formed a blade and swept out. Zhang Yun, who had been forewarned, immediately grabbed the hands of the two apprentices and jumped back to avoid them. At the same time, spiritual energy surged all over his body, and his eyes stared at the figure slowly walking out of the small building gate. Chapter 32, The Transformation Stage and 3 Cups of Tea. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Soul Puppet, Combat Power, Peak of Golden Core Stage, Introduction. It has been occupied by the remnant soul of a monk in the transformation stage, and a combination of 3 golden elixir stage spiritual beast crystal nuclei is used to maintain energy circulation in the body. Weaknesses. 3 crystal cores are located on the left leg, right leg, and between the eyebrows. Breaking through the 3 crystal cores can destroy them, or directly attack the remnant soul of the God transformation stage. This remnant soul is located in the center of the puppet's chest. The normal aura of the soul cannot touch it, and special energy is needed to hurt it. For example, the Golden Dragon spiritual energy and Overlord true energy of the host's 2 apprentices fall into this category. God transformation stage. Zhang Yun's pupils shrank. Could this place be the remnant soul of the God transformation stage manipulating the puppet before his death? Zhang Yun's heart was full of vigilance. This kind of existence, even if only the remnant soul is left, is not easy to mess with. You are able to avoid my sword. Your reaction is commendable. You are qualified to participate in my final test. At this time, the black-robed puppet in front of him suddenly said human words, "Now, you can come in." After saying that, it turned around and walked back into the small building, leaving the door open. "Master, this puppet." Seeing that the puppet actually spoke, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang looked a little surprised and couldn't help but look at Zhang Yun. "Follow my master." Zhang Yun narrowed his eyes slightly and walked towards Xiao Zhu. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang hurried to follow. Inside the small building is a simple tea room, with a tea table and a few chairs in the middle, and a landscape painting hanging on the wall next to it. Nothing else. The black-robed puppet from before was now standing by the tea table, picking up the 3 teapots on the tea table in turn, and pouring tea into the 3 ancient teacups on the table. The tea was still steaming, as if it had just been boiled. The colors of the 3 cups of tea are different. One cup is the common light yellow color. A cup is as clear and transparent as a bright spring. The last cup is as scarlet as blood. 3 cups of tea, 3 different effects. 2 of them can help you improve your strength. The other cup will make you weak. The black-robed puppet put the 3 teapots aside, pointed at the 3 cups of tea and said calmly, "I am a monk in the transformation stage. What you see now is the last trace of my soul left behind during my lifetime. I will stay here, just to find someone who is destined to inherit my mantle. These 3 cups of tea are specially made by me and will determine the 2 of you who can inherit my legacy." God Transformation Stage. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang both looked shocked when they heard this. In Nanyunsu, monks in the transformation stage are almost legendary. Now, I actually saw a God transformation stage with my own eyes. Inheritance of the divine transformation stage. After being shocked, both of them also reacted. They couldn't help but have a touch of fire in their eyes, but they still looked at Zhang Yun. Zhang Yun didn't speak, just stared at the 3 cups of tea on the table. Light yellow tea. Huang Ling tea. Introduction. Linghuang tea is soaked in Riling Spring, which contains rich spiritual energy. But there is a trace of residual soul in this cup of tea. If you drink it, the residual soul will enter the body together. Transparent tea. Weak soul tea. Introduction. The century-old soul-taking grass is soaked in the sun spirit spring, which has the effect of corroding the soul. Drinking it will cause the soul to enter a weakened state. Scarlet tea. Shui Ling tea. Introduction. Made from centuries-old blood spirit vines soaked in Riling Spring. It contains sufficient blood and qi, and drinking it can greatly increase qi and blood. But there is a trace of residual soul in this cup of tea, which will enter the body together after drinking it. Looking at the information brought by the immortal master's sky eye, and then looking at the black-robed puppet in front of him, Zhang Yun felt a chill in his heart. Inherited? It would be more appropriate to say that it is seizing the body. 3 cups of tea, 2 cups contain the other party's residual soul. Once drunk, the residual soul enters the body, which is equivalent to building a bridge for the other party in one's own body. As long as the opponent wants to, he can forcefully enter his body through this bridge at any time, attack and destroy his soul, and seize his body to occupy his body. The remaining cup of tea will directly weaken the soul. If the other party wants to seize the body, this cup of tea will directly make the person lose the ability of the soul to resist. The current stage of transformation is not a good bird. No matter what the relationship between you is, there are only 2 people who can obtain this inheritance. Seeing that Zhang Yun and the others did not move, the black-robed puppet continued, "The opportunity is fleeting, make your choice." After saying that, he watched quietly. He was confident that Zhang Yun and the others would not be able to refuse his inheritance temptation. Especially the 2 young juniors. The look in their eyes when they just heard about the divine transformation stage was as if they were looking at legends. When Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang heard this, their expressions were indeed moved, especially Su Ming. He wants to take revenge on the Lin family. If he can obtain the inheritance of the divine transformation stage, the time to achieve this goal will be greatly shortened. However, he still didn't move and just looked at Zhang Yun quietly. Although he wanted to make a choice immediately, he would not forget that it was Zhang Yun who gave him a new life. If Zhang Yunhua said that he would not be allowed to accept the inheritance, then he would not accept it. Wu Xiaopang didn't have any enemies like the Lin family. but he had the same idea at the moment. He almost gave up cultivating immortals and went home together, but Zhang Yun caught him and helped him activate the overlord holy body that he had never thought of. The god transformation stage is very awesome, but he is more willing to believe in Zhang Yun. Seeing Su Ming and the others still looking at Zhang Yun, the black-robed puppet secretly frowned. What's going on with these two young people? Faced with such a huge temptation, they still need to consult their master. Let me choose first. Just when he was a little impatient, Zhang Yun suddenly spoke. The black-robed puppet glanced at Zhang Yun and said nothing. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng didn't say anything either. If the master wants this inheritance, they are willing to give up. Senior, this cup of scarlet tea looks good. Is it soaked in blood? Zhang Yun stepped forward, picked up the cup of blood spirit tea, and asked the black-robed puppet with a smile. The black-robed puppet said calmly, blood cannot be soaked in tea. This tea is soaked with 100-year-old blood spirit vine. A century-old blood spirit vine. Zhang Yun looked surprised. What a good thing, that the black-robed puppet had a calm expression on his face, as if he was just a piece of shit to him. Zhang Yun smiled slightly, continued to pick up the weak soul tea next to him and asked with a smile, what about this cup of tea? What material is it made of? The choice of these 3 cups of tea is a test of your eyesight and luck. If I tell you everything, what else will you choose? The black-robed puppet snorted softly and said, if you want to choose, choose as soon as possible. If you don't choose, let those who want to choose come first. Now that I know the seniors, the juniors can choose. Zhang Yun smiled and picked up the most ordinary-looking Huang Ling tea next to him. This cup looks more normal. As he spoke, he put the teacup in front of his mouth. The black-robed puppet stared closely, just as Zhang Yun was about to drink the tea in one gulp. No. Zhang Yun suddenly paused, put down the teacup at his mouth, and picked up the blood spirit tea next to him. This cup of tea brewed with blood spirit vine is better. The black-robed puppet's eyes twitched, but he still stared closely as Zhang Yun put the blood spirit tea to his mouth, just when Zhang Yun was about to drink all the blood spirit tea. I choose you, uncle. Zhang Yun suddenly shook his hand and smashed the blood spirit tea directly into the face of the black-robed puppet. Snapped. The black-robed puppet didn't expect that Zhang Yun would suddenly burst into anger and directly splash tea all over his face. Before he could react, Zhang Yun's sandbag-sized fist was wrapped in spiritual energy and struck towards him. Chapter 33 The Shocking Stage of Divine Transformation. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Boom! Zhang Yun hit the black-robed puppet between the eyebrows with a precise punch. Click. There was only a crisp sound of the crystal core shattering. The black-robed puppet's face shattered, and a crystal core exposed between his eyebrows was shattered into pieces on the spot. It seemed that all energy had been lost directly. The black-robed puppet's entire body fell straight down, turning into a piece of scrap metal. Master, Master. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng next to them were stunned. They didn't expect that Zhang Yun would suddenly attack this god transformation stage. This guy is not a good bird. He has problems with 3 cups of tea. Zhang Yun clapped his hands and explained lightly. Has a problem? Su Ming and Su Ming looked at the 2 remaining cups of tea and saw nothing wrong with them. However, they firmly believed in Zhang Yun's words. After all, everything Zhang Yun showed along the way has already completely convinced them as apprentices. Okay, let's search here carefully to see if there are any inherited techniques or anything like that. Zhang Yun said with a relaxed expression, turning around intentionally or unintentionally so that his back faced the puppet that fell to the ground. Su Ming and the 2 nodded when they heard this and were about to take action. Brush. Suddenly, a sharp sound of piercing the wind sounded. Only a blade was seen, piercing Zhang Yun straight through. Master. Su Ming and the 2 were shocked, but they were suddenly stunned the next second, just because of the impaled Zhang Yun in front of him. His body actually disintegrated like a bubble. After image. When the black-robed puppet, who had already stood up, saw this, a hint of astonishment flashed between the 2 ghostly fires in his eyes. Click. Before he could react, a sword blade was pointed at his left thigh and passed straight through it. A crystal core inside it was directly pierced and shattered. You. The black-robed puppet looked at Zhang Yun, who appeared behind him, with a trace of surprise in his eyes. What's going on with this guy? Why can it directly locate the location of his puppet crystal core? First the center of the eyebrow, and now the left thigh, the remaining one is not clear. Click. As if to confirm his thoughts, Zhang Yun drew out the sword blade that pierced his left thigh and stabbed directly into his right thigh. The whole process was so fast that the black-robed puppet had no time to move, and the crystal core in his right thigh was pierced. Without the energy supply of the spirit beast crystal core, the black-robed puppet suddenly made a creak sound, and its body completely collapsed and turned into a piece of scrap metal. Putting 3 golden elixir stage crystal cores into the same puppet, you really spent a lot of money. Zhang Yun drew his sword, looked at the puppet that fell to the ground and spoke. You. Hearing this, how could the black-robed puppet not understand that everything about him had already been seen through? Full of shock for a moment, how did you see it? Zhang Yun said calmly, it's just a puppet like you. You can see it with both eyes, okay? Have a pair of eyes. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng next to them looked at each other in shock when they heard this. They didn't seem to notice, the black-robed puppet was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood, but he still couldn't believe it. What's going on with this guy in front of me? Even if he only has the peak cultivation level of the foundation establishment stage and his combat power is comparable to the peak of the golden core stage, why is his eyesight so exaggerated? Not to mention seeing through his puppet, how did you see through the 3 cups of tea? For these 3 cups of tea, he had spent more than 10 years trying to hide his remaining soul as best as possible. Even if a cultivator in the transformation stage comes, he thinks that the other party may not be able to see the problem. How did Zhang Yun see it? He couldn't understand it at all. Okay, take out all your inheritance and stuff. Zhang Yun looked at the black-robed puppet who fell to the ground and couldn't get up, and said calmly, I can give you a pleasure. Happy? Hearing this, the black-robed puppet smiled, I don't know how you can see through my arrangement, but you want to give me pleasure. You are far from qualified. As a god transformation stage, the remnant souls, swords, guns, and spiritual energy he left behind are invulnerable. Unless a god transformation stage monk of the same realm comes, even if there are 180 nascent soul stage monks, they will not be able to withstand him. Yeah. Zhang Yun smiled faintly when he heard this and waved to the 2 apprentices. Ming'er, little fat guy, come here. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng were startled and stepped forward quickly. Ming'er, use your golden dragon spiritual energy and give it to his chest. Zhang Yun pointed at the center of the black-robed puppet's chest. Yes, master. Su Ming was a little confused, but he immediately circulated the golden dragon spirit energy in his body. As soon as the spiritual energy came out, there seemed to be a faint dragon's roar in the air, and a faint dragon's power filled the air. This is Long Wei. Metallic dragon aura. The black-robed puppet was startled at first, then his eyes widened suddenly, and he looked at Su Ming in shock. You have a dragon bloodline constitution, and you have a mutated metallic dragon spirit root. Su Ming glanced at the black-robed puppet. As expected of the god transformation stage, his condition can be seen just by the way he releases his spiritual energy. The black-robed puppet stared at Su Ming as if looking at a treasure. He regrets it. If he had known that this boy had such a physique, he would have taken action immediately. So what if Zhang Yun has the peak combat power of the golden elixir stage? With his black-robed puppet and his combat skills, he can still deal with it. The spiritual tea was arranged just because he saw the battle between Zhang Yun and the Nanshan sect elder and wanted to solve the problem without getting hurt. He never thought that Zhang Yun would see through it, so that he didn't even take precautions and gave him 3 crystal cores. Zhang Yun was ruined one after another, at the moment. Not good. Seeing Su Ming's golden dragon spirit energy punching him in the center of the chest, his expression changed. His remnant soul is inaccessible to spiritual energy, but that refers to general spiritual energy. In the face of special spiritual energy such as the golden dragon spiritual energy, boom. A punch carrying a large amount of golden dragon spiritual energy hit the chest of the black-robed puppet, and a humanoid soul body the size of a palm appeared from it, which was the remnant soul. As soon as it came into contact with the golden dragon's aura, the the remnant soul was like an iron block meeting molten lava. It was eroded and started to smoke. That the severe pain made remnant scream miserably. It really works. Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows when he saw this, and looked at Fatty Wu next to him. Little Fatty, use your overlord chi to punch him too. Okay, master. That Wu Xiaopang on the side was already eager to give it a try. This is a beating for a monk in the transformation stage. If word spreads, this matter will be enough to brag about for a lifetime. Is the overlord really angry? That the remnant soul that was being corroded by the golden dragon's aura heard the conversation between Zhang Yun and Wu Xiaopang, and looked at Wu Xiaopang with a hint of surprise. This little fat guy, before he had time to think about it, he saw a golden energy full of domineering pressure gathering in Wu Xiaopang's fist. The little face where the remnant soul appeared could not help but open his mouth wide, his eyes full of disbelief. What the hell? This little fat guy actually has special energy. Overlord, could it be that this little fat man possesses the legendary holy body of the Overlord? Boom! Just as he was thinking about it, Wu Xiaopang's punch wrapped in Ba Wang's true energy suddenly landed. No! The remaining soul roared, but to no avail. The punch from the Overlord's true energy directly caused his soul to twist, and the remaining soul in his body began to disintegrate into pieces. When it was almost defeated, Zhang Yun took action at the right time, using spiritual energy to penetrate the opponent's soul body and sweep away the golden dragon's spiritual energy and Overlord's true energy contaminated on it. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang are both in the foundation building stage. Although these two energies are strong, they are not actually very powerful. They are just effective against remnant souls. At this time, Zhang Yun's spiritual energy was immediately swept away. Without the erosion of the two special energies, the remnant soul could finally take a breather, but most of the soul body had been eroded in holes in the east and west, and the holes looked particularly dim. Now, can you talk about it? Fairyland Chapter 34 Diary. You are listening at novelfold.audio. You, who are you? Hearing this, Ken Hun looked up at Zhang Yun, his big eyes full of uncertainty, seeing everything about him at a glance. He also has two evil disciples with saint-level physiques under his command. It is absolutely impossible for such a person to just be in a small foundation building period. Hidden strength. This person definitely hides his strength. His true strength is probably even stronger than he was during his lifetime. I am the ninth elder of Lingxian sect. Zhang Yun spoke calmly. Lingxian sect, which super sect is this? Ken Hun was confused. Zhang Yun glanced at him. This remnant soul seems to be older than imagined. Although Lingxian sect is not an ancient sect, it has a history of over 100 years, Zhang Yun said calmly. I can't say it's a super sect, but it still has some strength in Nanyuan Prefecture. For example, our sect leader is a Nascent Soul Stage boss. Nascent Soul Stage, boss? The remaining soul was stunned. Are you kidding me? With some strength, the sect leader is only at the Nascent Soul Stage. Return to the Nascent Soul Stage boss. You are the real boss, okay? Okay, hurry up and hand over your inheritance. I can give you a pleasure. Otherwise. Zhang Yun was too lazy to talk nonsense to him and motioned to the two apprentices. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang understood, and Golden Dragon spiritual energy and Overlord true energy surged out of their hands respectively. Seeing his threatening posture, Remnant Soul's mouth twitched and he said in a muffled voice, I have left no inheritance. No? Zhang Yun was startled. Thinking about it, there seems to be nothing wrong with it. This guy even thought about seizing someone else's body and resurrecting it, so why should he leave a legacy? Damn it! If you don't have any inheritance, why are you hanging around here with me for a long time? Zhang Yun kicked Ken Hun directly in the face and waved his hand to the two apprentices. Kill them. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang immediately released their Golden Dragon spiritual energy and Overlord true energy. They were also a little angry. After a long time, this remnant soul left no inheritance at all, and their expectations were in vain. Don't want, the remaining soul screamed, but how could Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang care about him? The Golden Dragon's spiritual energy and the Overlord's true energy poured into the remnant soul directly to death. within a few seconds, the remaining soul was completely eroded by the two energies and turned into a wisp of smoke. Is he going to die? Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang looked at it blankly. The monk in the transformation stage really died in their hands like this? Zhang Yun didn't feel much at all. It's just a remnant soul of the god transformation stage. Without this puppet body, it is equivalent to fish meat that has lost its fighting power. Killing it is no big deal, he immediately said. Go outside and search around. Although this thing didn't leave any inheritance, it may not have left some other things. Yes, master. After hearing this, Su Ming and his two men woke up. After answering, they left the small building and started searching outside. Zhang Yun searched inside the small building and used his spiritual energy to find his way along the wall bit by bit. In the memory of his fused predecessor, he has a lot of experience searching for items. Although the small building in front of me seems to be empty except for the tea table, there may not be anything hidden in the surrounding walls. After some groping, he actually found a spot on the wall that was obviously empty. But after searching, no wall opening mechanism was found around. On the contrary, directly opposite this empty wall, there happened to be the only landscape painting in the small building. Is there something wrong with this painting? Zhang Yun was not sure, so he stepped forward and tried to move the portrait. Kaka. With this movement, a burst of gear rotation was heard from the opposite wall. Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows and continued to move the portrait. The opposite wall slowly opened under his gaze, revealing a circular notch the size of a basketball. There is an iron box placed in the recess. Zhang Yun was slightly curious, but he did not immediately step forward to open the box. Instead, he walked to the front and rear of the small building door, and then used aura to open the box remotely. Don't ask, you're afraid of death if you ask. After all, it is something left by a person in the stage of becoming a god. If there is a hidden Tao restriction or something in the box, Zhang Yun cannot guarantee that he can block it. Creak. When the iron box is opened, there is no scene that prohibits the energy explosion. This seems to be just an ordinary iron box. Looking inside the box from a distance, there is obviously a parchment scroll inside. He fiddled with the iron box with his spiritual energy several times, and after confirming that there was nothing wrong with it, Zhang Yun stepped forward. He reached out and touched the iron box, and immediately jumped away from the place as if he was electrocuted. Seeing that the iron box still didn't respond when he touched it, an Xian stepped forward and took out the iron box and looked through the sheepskin scroll inside. In September 1900 of the immortal calendar, I was seriously injured here. I unexpectedly discovered that this place is rich in spiritual energy. I specially opened an underground cave here, hoed the spiritual field, and planted all the elixir seeds I brought here, and regarded this place as my residence. In November 1900 of the immortal calendar, the injuries spread all over the body, and I feared that I would not die soon. Leave a legacy. I am not willing to give in. Qiandao old man, if you don't die, how can I die like this? In January 1901 of the immortal calendar, I divided my soul, leaving some arrangements and a residual soul in the hope of being resurrected in the future. If the person who sees this content is not me, it means that my remaining soul has been destroyed. Whether it was destroyed by you who saw the scroll, or my remnant soul failed to find a suitable body and could not survive the years and has self-destructed. I hope that after seeing this scroll, you can do me a favor. The South Star State, Qianhai Island in the Southern Territory, that is the territory of my enemy Qiandao ancestor. The ancestor of Qiandao is a monk at the peak of the divine transformation stage. I hope that when you are able, you can help me kill him. As a reward, 2 of my abilities are recorded on the back of the scroll. One is the puppet technique, the other is the method of planting elixir. Finally, I would like to introduce myself. I am Zuokiyubi, a minor monk in the stage of becoming a god. I am a member of the Zhua family, the extinct family in Ningxingzhu. The content of the first half of the scroll is similar to that of a diary. Zuokiyubi was obviously the name of the previous remnant soul. Zhang Yun has never heard of this Zhua family, but the name of Qianhai Island in South Star State is familiar to him. There are 6 states in the southern region, and Nanyuan Prefecture is one of them. Ningxingzhu is also one of them. And these 1,000 islands are the most famous and powerful force in the southern Star State, and they are the famous overlord of the Southern Territory. Offending such a force, no wonder Zhuo Qiubei was seriously injured and fell to this point, but looking at the time, it has been a long time since now. It is now the year 2090 of the immortal calendar, which is almost 200 years ago. So, the batch of elixirs just now are all elixirs that are close to 200 years old. Zhang Yun couldn't help but raise his eyebrows as he thought about it. There is still a big difference in value between a century-old elixir that is almost 200 years old and an ordinary 100-year-old elixir. This diary provided him with useful information. As for avenging Zhuo Qiubei, Zhang Yun had no such plan. This guy wanted to take away him and his apprentice before, but he also helped them take revenge. I want to eat shit. Besides, the enemy is still a hegemonic force like Qianhai Island. This revenge will definitely not be avenged. But you still have to get the reward. Zhang Yun looked at the content at the back of the scroll, and it turned out to be about the puppet technique. It recorded in detail how to make a crystal core puppet like the one he encountered before, as well as the control technique. This made Zhang Yun's eyes brighten. What a good thing. Puppet spells are not unusual, but their quality varies. The quality of the puppet technique in front of me is above the passing line. Especially the method of making a soul puppet, which can accommodate 3 crystal cores and a puppet with a residual soul at the same time. This method of making a puppet is unheard of and can be regarded as a unique method. If you put this on the immortal cultivation market, it will definitely fetch a good price. There is also a method for planting elixirs later, which records a lot of useful experience, and it is also rare. He also said he didn't leave any inheritance, so I almost deceived you. Zhang Yun glanced at the puppet's remains on the ground. These two methods can be regarded as a kind of inheritance. Putting the scroll into the storage ring, Zhang Yun was startled when he saw the bottom of the iron box exposed underneath. Fairyland Chapter 35 Golden Core Servant. You are listening at novelfold.audio. There is actually an architectural drawing engraved on the bottom of the iron box. The content is clearly the structure of this underground cave. The exit is actually here. Looking at the location of one of the exits, Zhang Yun was quite surprised, because this exit is actually right under his feet. Under this small building, there is an underground stone chamber, which contains a teleportation array connected to the south wind forest above the ground. Of course, this is not the only outlet. The other exit is the abyss where Zhang Yun was sent down before. He can fly all the way out by flying directly up. However, after flying up, what was connected was not the place where it came down, but an abyss deep in the Nanfeng forest. The underground entrance of the cave where Zhang Yun was sucked down earlier was actually a one-way teleportation array. He blasted the cave open and triggered the restriction inside, sucking him in, and he was teleported down. This teleportation array is one-time use and will run out of energy and disappear after use. There are many such teleportation arrays in Nanfeng Forest. Once a restriction is triggered by someone, it will be triggered along with other teleportation arrays. If a living person is found nearby, they will be forcibly sucked down. These were arranged by Zhuo Qiubei for resurrection before his death. Zhang Yun estimated that he, his 2 disciples, Huang Laodao and others were not the first people to be sucked down. It is estimated that many people have been sucked down before them, but there is a high probability that these people will not make it out alive. Since Zhuo Qiubei's remnant soul is still alive, if he can't take it away, the people who come in will definitely not let him leave easily. After all, if word spread about a place like this, it would definitely attract the attention of countless monks and immortal cultivating sections. With Zhuo Qiubei's remnant soul's ability to control the 3 crystal core puppet, he could handle some at the golden core stage, but if 2 nascent soul stages came, he wouldn't be able to stop it. This can be seen from the fact that there is no news from the outside world. As for Zhuo Qiubei's remnant soul, which has never taken possession of his body, it is probably because the bodies of those who came before him could not meet his requirements. This conclusion was drawn based on the words in the diary. If a suitable body cannot be found, a person in the stage of becoming a god obviously has many requirements on the physical body. Boom. Zhang Yun was just thinking when a roar suddenly came from outside the small building, and his feet shook like an earthquake. Master! Wu Xiaopeng's exclamation came from outside. Zhang Yun's expression condensed and he rushed out of the small building. I saw Wu Xiaopeng standing on the right side of Xiaozhu, and in front of him, there was a slowly opening underground staircase. Master, I just accidentally stepped on this place while searching, and then. Wu Xiaopeng pointed to the ground under his right foot, which was dented by his steps. Zhang Yun laughed, I just looked at the route map. This underground staircase leads to the exit teleportation array. This little fat guy can also step on it, and he can even step on the mechanism. He immediately said, it's okay, let go of your feet. The underground stairs lead to the exit. Exit. Wu Xiaopeng and Su Ming were both surprised when they heard this. The exit was actually underground. I just found an architectural drawing of this place. Zhang Yun explained, turned around and put all the tea tables, teapots, chairs, landscape paintings, and the remains of the soul puppet on the ground into the storage ring. There is nothing to miss here, let's leave with my master. Then he said something to Su Ming and the other two, and walked towards the underground stairs. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng followed. Not long after the three of them entered the underground stairs, Huang Laodao poked half of his head out of a cave passage not far away. So the exit is here. Looking at the underground stairs, he raised his eyebrows slightly. After escaping from the cave passage earlier, he saw that Zhang Yun did not catch up, so after waiting for a while, he carefully touched back, because the end of the cave passage is the place he passed when he first came down, at the bottom of a cliff and an abyss. He wasn't sure what he would encounter when flying up the abyss, so he chose to come back. When he came back, he saw Wu Xiaopeng opening the exit and Zhang Yun and three others entered, but he didn't rush forward. After waiting for about a quarter of an hour, after guessing that Zhang Yun and the others had left, they cautiously stepped forward. The digging was really clean. After scanning the surrounding medicinal fields, Huang Laodao shook his head slightly. He looked at the small building with the door open, hesitated for a moment, and then walked in to explore. Damn that guy, he robbed the medicine field and ransacked it so cleanly. Seeing the geese flying over the empty building, Huang Laodao couldn't help but cursed in a low voice, Lingxian sect, I will remember you. It seems that I should feel honored to be remembered by you. At this time, a faint voice suddenly came from outside the small building gate. Huang Laodao's expression suddenly froze, and he turned around, only to see Zhang Yun standing outside the door with a smile on his face. You didn't leave. Huang Laodao opened his mouth in surprise. You haven't left yet, how can I have the nerve to leave first? Zhang Yun smiled lightly and already held the sword in his hand. Huang Laodao twitched the corner of his mouth and wanted to escape, but there was no way to escape in the small building at this moment. For a moment, I could only grit my teeth, take out the command flag, and shout angrily, don't force me to do this. Brush. Zhang Yun didn't bother to talk nonsense with him and just swung his sword. Sky Snake, Sky Fox, Sky Wolf. Huang Laodao waved the command flag vigorously, hiss. Ouch! Ouch! 3 beast roars were heard, and 3 spirit beast souls with golden elixir stage aura floated out, a snake soul, a fox soul, a wolf soul. Huang Laodao waved his command flag and said in a deep voice, fellow Taoist Lingxian sect, if you step back now, we can still discuss it, otherwise. Brush. Before he could finish speaking, Zhang Yun had already slashed forward with his sword. Asshole. Huang Laodao gritted his teeth, and 3 golden elixir stage beast souls rushed out, hidden body sword technique. Zhang Yun shouted in his heart, and his body surface surged with spiritual energy. At the moment when he was about to collide with the 3 beast souls, his body and the sword suddenly disappeared in front of Huang Laodao's eyes. This. Huang Laodao was shocked. Before he could think about it, a figure appeared beside him. Not good. His expression changed drastically, and it was too late to react. Puff. Zhang Yun thrust out his sword and accurately pierced his left arm, which was the gate of life. Ah! Huang Laodao's screams also confirmed this. The 3 golden elixir stage beast souls returned to the command flag on their own due to loss of energy. Huang Laodao lay down on the ground, holding his left arm and rolling in pain. How did you know? While feeling pain, he looked at Zhang Yun in disbelief. Although Zhang Yun had easily seen through the life gate of the great elder of Nanshan sect before, he was still a little unbelievable that his life gate could be seen so easily. Zhang Yun ignored him and raised his sword directly. Don't kill me. Huang Laodao's expression changed drastically, and he shouted quickly, as long as you don't kill me, I can do whatever you want. Zhang Yun's sword that was about to be chopped off paused for a moment, then looked at Huang Laodao calmly, you can do anything? Right. Upon hearing this, Huang Laodao nodded quickly and said, I just want to save my life. Okay, I don't have to kill you. But I want you. Zhang Yun said calmly, be my servant. Servant. Huang Laodao stared. What, you don't want to? Zhang Yun continued to raise his sword. Huang Laodao was so frightened that he quickly shouted, yes. I am willing. Okay. Zhang Yun smiled, and suddenly performed a mysterious trick with his left hand. What do you want to do? Huang Laodao's face changed slightly when he saw this. Zhang Yun narrowed his eyes and said, if you dare to block it, I will stab you to death with one sword. Huang Laodao's mouth twitched, but he still didn't dare to move. After Zhang Yun completed a set of tricks, he aimed his left hand at the opponent's heart and suddenly pressed down with his palm. Well. Huang Laodao felt his chest sink, and there was something in his heart. I couldn't help but ask, what is this? Zhang Yun smiled slightly, it's just a small way to control you. Small means? Huang Laodao's face turned pale. At this moment, he only felt something pressing on his heart, which was heavy. Although it didn't cause any pain, he could feel that once this thing exploded, it would crush his heart in an instant. His life is now in Zhang Yun's hands. Who are you? Huang Laodao gritted his teeth and asked. He didn't believe that an ordinary Lingxian sect elder would have so many abilities. As a servant, don't you think you have too many problems? Zhang Yun glanced at him with a smile. This smile made Huang Laodao inexplicably frightened and he quickly shut his mouth. Zhang Yun didn't pay much attention. After reading the architectural drawings at the bottom of the iron box, he guessed that Huang Laodao would probably come back again. After all, no normal person would want to fly up to the entrance of the abyss. Because you can't guarantee that you can really get out after flying up. If there are any restrictions on it, it will be terrible. Therefore, after going down the underground stairs previously, Zhang Yun calmed down after going down a certain distance. After sensing the aura of Huang Laodao above him, he immediately came back, and this was the scene where he was blocked in Shaozhou. Originally, he felt that letting Huang Laodao go would have little impact on him. But after thinking about it carefully, if the other party spreads the news about this place and let people know that he has obtained the inheritance of this place, the trouble will continue, so, this person still can't be let go. As for accepting the other party now, it is considered a temporary decision. As a casual cultivator in the Golden Elixir stage, Huang Laodao's role is not small. In the circle of immortal cultivators in the immortal continent, there are many things that are difficult to understand as a regular sect elder, but it is different for the other party as a casual cultivator. Rogue cultivators are definitely good at collecting information. Since he traveled to this world, Zhang Yun felt that it was necessary to grasp the real-time information of this world. Just like this time Nanshan sect united with Nanzang Treasure Pavilion, the Lingxian sect failed to receive the news in advance, but as a casual cultivator, Huang Laodao might not be unable to receive the news in advance. No matter how bad it is, having a subordinate at the peak of the Golden Core stage as a thug is also good. In the future, there are many things that Zhang Yun is too lazy to do, so he can leave them to the other party. Of course, the most important thing is to have a way to control the other party. The technique he used on the opponent was called the heart pressure technique, which was one of the techniques obtained at the Wanjie Kung Fu Pavilion. This technique is divided into 3 stages. The first stage is not difficult to practice. Zhang Yun mastered it the first time he read it. In this first stage, when touching another person's heart, you can leave a spiritual energy restriction on the other person's heart. He can activate this restriction at will and burst the opponent's heart. It's a kind of technique to control other people's lives. From today on, you are my servant, Zhang Yun. Zhang Yun said and threw a sound transmission stone to the other party. Huang Laodao took it, feeling a little gloomy. Unexpectedly, I went back the same way and lost myself. If I had known this, after escaping just now, I might as well fly out along the abyss. He regrets it. Come on, leave with me. Zhang Yun spoke calmly. Good. Huang Laodao nodded. Just a good word. Zhang Yun looked at him sideways. Huang Laodao twitched the corner of his mouth and changed his words bitterly. Yes, master. Don't call me master, call me young master from now on, it sounds nice. Huang Laodao was speechless. You should have told me earlier, Laodao, I don't want to call you master yet. He immediately changed his words and said, yes, master. Only then did Zhang Yun walk out of the small building with satisfaction. Huang Laodao followed silently. Master, he. At the entrance of the underground stairs, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng had already walked up and were waiting. They were a little surprised to see Huang Laodao coming out behind Zhang Yun. In their opinion, Zhang Yun should kill the latter directly. Now. He will be the master's servant from now on. Zhang Yun explained lightly and glanced at Huang Laodao. How to call it, you don't need me to teach you, right? The corners of Huang Laodao's mouth twitched, but the pressure in his heart still made him bow his head and respectfully praise Su Ming and the others. I have met the two young masters. When Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng heard this, they both opened their mouths in shock. Sky. This Taoist priest at the peak of the golden elixir stage was actually taken as a slave by their master. The two people looked at Zhang Yun with eyes filled with admiration for a moment. Fairyland Chapter 36 Deep in the South Wind Forest. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Okay, let's go, Zhang Yun said, taking the lead towards the underground stairs. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng followed immediately. Huang Laodao followed silently at the end. The group of people arrived at the underground stone chamber at the bottom of the stairs. There was a half-meter-high platform in front of him, covered with a large black cloth brush. Lifting the black cloth, a bright teleportation array suddenly appeared. Huang Laodao looked a little surprised. Unexpectedly, such a teleportation array was set up in this place. This kind of teleportation array is not easy to arrange. The person who created this place has amazing strength. Thinking about it, he looked at Zhang Yun with envy in his eyes. If you get the inheritance of such a strong man, you will make a lot of money. Old Huang, come on, Zhang Yun spoke. Huang Laodao has black lines all over his head. Sir, how about using him to test the stability of the teleportation array? Also, what the hell is Lao Huang? Why does it sound like calling a dog? Somewhat helpless, but still stepped onto the teleportation array. Buzz. The moment Huang Laodao stepped onto the teleportation formation, a burst of dazzling light suddenly appeared above the formation, covering his entire body instantly. In a blink of an eye, Huang Laodao disappeared. Zhang Yun sensed it and confirmed that the restriction on the heart pressure technique cast on Huang Laodao still existed, and then he safely led his two disciples onto the teleportation array. Accompanied by a sudden spin in front of my eyes, when he looked around clearly, he was already in a small, bright cave, with many luminous pearls inlaid on the surrounding walls. There is a teleportation array at your feet, and Huang Laodao is standing next to it. Looking towards the entrance of the cave, there is a thin layer of transparent barrier there, blocking the water from outside from flowing inside. At this moment, they were obviously in an underwater cave. Old Huang, go back and try to come back through the teleportation array over there. Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows slightly, led his two apprentices down the teleportation array, and spoke to Huang Laodao aside. He wanted to test the stability of this teleportation array. The teleportation array in front of you, as shown in the architectural diagram, is the only continuously usable teleportation array in this underground cave, but after all, it has been 100 years, and it is difficult to determine how stable it will be. If it is relatively stable, we can use this place as a secret base in the future. If you are hunted down one day, you can use this place to hide. When Huang Laodao heard this, his head turned black. When did he, a peak cultivator at the golden core stage, be used as a tool to be dispatched? But facing Zhang Yun's dull gaze, he still had no choice but to step onto the teleportation array. With a burst of light, Huang Laodao disappeared into the teleportation array in front of him. Buzz. After waiting for about 2 minutes, the teleportation array lit up again, and Huang Laodao returned here. Very good. Zhang Yun nodded and immediately left a spiritual mark in the cave for easy search in the future. Then he led the three people to the barrier at the entrance of the cave. This time Zhang Yun didn't need to say anything. Huang Laodao took the initiative and reached out to touch the barrier. As soon as his palm touched it, it penetrated directly through the barrier. Huang Laodao said, "This should be specially used to block the water flow. Humans can penetrate freely." Zhang Yun nodded and said, "Go out and have a look." Huang Laodao immediately put it on and went out. He also accepted his fate. His life was in Zhang Yun's hands. If he didn't want to die, he would have to be an obedient pathfinding machine. After waiting in the underwater cave for 2 minutes, Huang Laodao's voice came from the sound transmission stone on Zhang Yun's body. "No problem, it's just an ordinary lake. Wrap your heads with spiritual energy." Zhang Yun put away the sound transmission stone and demonstrated it to the 2 apprentices. He wrapped his head with spiritual energy to form a transparent light shield like a helmet. "This is the best way to keep breathing underwater." Su Ming and the 2 immediately followed suit. Zhang Yun then led them through the barrier and swam out. The outside, as Huang Laodao said, is just the bottom of a lake. However, it is much deeper than the Ling Crocodile Lake that we explored before, estimated to be tens of meters, and the surrounding light is a bit dim. "Swim all the way to shore." Huang Laodao was waiting on the shore. Seeing them coming up, he immediately said, "The density of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth around here is very high. Our current location should be in the deep area of Nanfeng Forest." Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows. "If you get lost in the Nanfeng Forest, the density of heaven and earth spiritual energy is the best way to identify the area you are in. The higher the density, the deeper the location. Many spiritual medicines can grow in the Nanfeng Forest, and countless spiritual beasts are entrenched here. This is because the density of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth here is much higher than that in other places. The deeper you go, the richer the aura of heaven and earth becomes. Let's go outside." Zhang Yun sensed it and headed towards the direction where the spiritual energy density of heaven and earth was lower. The deepest part of the Nanfeng Forest is very dangerous, and it is said that there are spiritual beasts at the Nascent Soul Stage. Zhang Yun believed that even with the immortal eye technique, it would be difficult to deal with this level of spiritual beast with his current strength. Putting yourself in danger is a fool's errand. It's better to move out quickly. But before he had taken 2 steps, his steps suddenly stopped. Huang Laodao, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng all looked at him in confusion. "You guys wait for me here," Zhang Yun said, turning around and heading towards the depths of the Nanfeng Forest where the spiritual energy density is higher. Huang Laodao was stunned. "Is this guy crazy? If you go deeper, there is a chance of encountering a Nascent Soul Stage spirit beast." But thinking of the strength Zhang Yun showed, he fell silent again. Although it seems that he is only at the peak of the foundation building stage, Zhang Yun's true strength is said to be in the Nascent Soul Stage, which seems very reasonable. Is he a Nascent Soul Stage who hides his strength? Huang Laodao looked at Zhang Yun's back and thought to himself, "But when I think about it, I think it's impossible. If one is in the Nascent Soul Stage and sneaks into the Lingxian sect, there is no reason why the Lingxian sect master cannot detect it. After all, even if the leader of the Lingxian sect is in the Nascent Soul Stage, he is still a first-rate master, unless Zhang Yun's true cultivation level has surpassed the Nascent Soul Stage." Thinking of this, Huang Laodao trembled. "The more I think about it, the more possible it becomes. After all, with such a level of cultivation, it can be explained by being able to see through at a glance the weaknesses of him and the Nanshan sect Grand Elder who are at the peak of the Golden Core stage." Gulu. After swallowing his saliva, Huang Laodao's rebellious thoughts that had always been in his heart couldn't help but dissipate at this moment. An existence beyond the Nascent Soul Stage, resisting in the face of this existence. That is simply courting death. Having said that, being able to be a servant to such a being doesn't seem to be a shameful thing. It's even possible that he found a big backer. Thinking about it, Huang Laodao's mood suddenly became lighter. Zhang Yun didn't know Huang Laodao's thoughts, so he cautiously went deeper and took out 3 training bracelets. This belongs to the 3 great elders of Nanshan sect. Since the experience bracelets of him and his 2 apprentices can be tracked, he has reason to believe that the bracelets of the 3 Nanshan sect elders can also be tracked. Naturally, the bracelet cannot be left in the underground cave. When collecting the trophies from the 3 elders of Nanshan sect, they took this bracelet with them. At the moment. Just leave it here. Zhang Yun glanced at the deep woods around him. It was already dusk, and the light everywhere became a little dim, making the atmosphere in the surrounding woods look a bit gloomy. Although it seems peaceful, the calmer it is, the more abnormal it is. After throwing the 3 experience bracelets around, Zhang Yun immediately turned around and left. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but he felt like he was being targeted by something, so it was best to run away quickly. This feeling gradually faded away until he moved away for a long distance. It seems like something is really targeting me. Looking back, Zhang Yun swallowed his saliva and hurried away. Just as he was moving away, a pair of dark red pupils suddenly appeared deeper in the woods where he had thrown the bracelet. A huge creature over 10 meters long slowly crawled out. Looking at the direction Zhang Yun was leaving, a trace of human doubt flashed across the pupils of the giant creature. But he didn't pursue him, and silently turned around and crawled back into the depths of the forest. Chapter 37, What's Going On with This Strange Elder? You are listening at novelfold.audio. It's going to be night soon, get out as soon as possible. After meeting the 2 apprentices and Huang Laodao, Zhang Yun immediately took them in the direction of lower spiritual energy density. After feeling that the density of spiritual energy in the surrounding world was not that high, night had fallen in the sky, a group of 4 people immediately searched around, and finally found a large tree hole. After killing a peak-level brown bear that originally lived in it, they occupied the magpie's nest and rested temporarily. I guess I'm lagging behind in the rankings. I have to speed up tomorrow. Zhang Yun sat on the futon and looked at the points on the crystal bracelet. From being sucked into the underground cave to now, he only got 20 points from killing the brown bear just now. After so long, it is estimated that the ranking that might have been high has now fallen. If you want to win first place, you have to work hard in the next 2 days. In the square outside Nanfeng Forest, the place was illuminated by large aura lights at night. First place, Nanshan Sect's 3rd Elder, 450 points. Second place, 5th Elder of Nanshan Sect, 439 points. 9th place, Great Elder of Lingxian Sect, 379 points. 10th place, 9th Elder of Lingxian Sect, 355 points. 13th place, Grand Elder of Nanshan Sect, 301 points. The rankings on the crystal control tablet were clearly displayed in front of everyone. Score, the 9th Elder of Lingxian Sect scores. Here I go, I haven't scored in the past half day. Isn't it going to start again? It's already dark, so it shouldn't be a problem. But Nanshan Sect's Great Elder, why haven't you scored? Yes, before this weird Elder of Lingxian Sect came up, the Great Elder of Nanshan Sect was always number 1. Now half a day has passed and he has not scored a single point, and he has fallen outside the 10th place. Is something going to happen to the Nanshan Sect's Great Elder? It's impossible. That's a peak golden elixir stage monk. That everyone was talking about it. Mu Wenxuan and the head of the Nanshan Sect looked at each other, each frowning. When they saw that Zhang Yun suddenly lost points and dropped all the way down the rankings, they wondered if the Lin family had not taken action before and only took action later. But right now, why did this guy score again? What happened? What's going on with the Great Elder? The head of the Nanshan Sect frowned. He is really confused now. If Qiu Lu might have gone to Zhang Yun to trouble him and failed, then the Great Elder of Lingxian Sect should not do it. Before entering, he had specially sent a message to their elder to ask him to stop the process of earning points for the Elder of Lingxian Sect, and then start earning points at full speed without thinking about anything else. At present, the opponent, like Zhang Yun, has not scored for a long time, and now Zhang Yun has scored again, and their elder's points are still unchanged. This made him feel a little uneasy, but it felt impossible. Based on the strength of their Great Elder, he did not think that anyone among the elders of the 2 sects participating this time would be his opponent. Not even the Great Elder of Lingxian Sect. Could it be that the discovery of some ruins in the cave was delayed? The Great Elder of Nanshan Sect could only think so. What's going on with the 9th Elder? This is too strange. The points suddenly increase sharply, and then there are no points for a long time. Oh, I don't expect anything else. As long as he can keep his top 10 position. At least the Great Elder is now in the top 10. Under this situation, it's okay to keep 2 people in the top 10. Everyone in the Lingxian sect was speechless about Zhang Yun's ranking. One moment he was rushing to the first place, another moment he was about to fall out of the top 10 without scoring for a long time. They really couldn't figure out what their ninth elder was playing. Also confused is the leader of the Lingxian sect. Originally, he wanted to give Zhang Yun a credit, but after that Zhang Yun stopped scoring, and his ranking dropped all the way. It made him extremely painful to watch, and at the same time, he was worried that something was wrong. As a result, Zhang Yun scored again. Damn it, there's no problem, why can't you score for a long time? I hope you can stay in the top 10 for me, otherwise I will give you a big demerit when I come out. Lingxian sect groaned inwardly, thinking that he was in the Nascent Soul Stage. Zhang Yun's foundation establishment stage actually made Zhang Yun's mood agitated at the end of the day. If Zhang Yun can't keep the top 10, then he, the leader of the Lingxian sect, won't do it if he doesn't give this little punishment. Damn it! It's so crazy. The ninth elder of Lingxian sect started to be crazy again. At this moment, an exclamation suddenly arose in the originally quiet place under the night. Everyone was startled and looked at the crystal control monument. I saw Zhang Yun, the ninth elder of Lingxian sect, who was ranked 10th with 355 points a second ago, and his points jumped directly to 370 in this second, and then jumped to 383 in the next moment. In just a few blinks, he directly broke through 400 points. The ranking started to jump up. Everyone was shocked. What's going on with this weird elder? Either score in half a day, or fly straight away after scoring. Damn it, he's in the top 3. He's in the top 3. Second. He is second. The points have jumped again. 459 points, first place. Everyone went crazy. Has a problem. There is definitely something wrong with this strange elder. Ninth elder. Everyone in Lingxian sect opened their mouths wide. 1 second they were thinking about Zhang Yunbao being in the top 10, this second, number 1. The leader of Lingxian sect was also stunned at this moment. Where is Zhang Yun playing? The points are so high. Under night, in the open space in front of the tree hole in Nanfeng Forest, roar. Zhang Yun stabbed a foundation building brown bear in front of him to death. Looking at the group of brown bears with red pupils around him, he couldn't help laughing and shaking his head. Unexpectedly, killing a brown bear and grabbing a tree hole attracted a group of people. Just in time, get wave points for him. Old Huang, protect my 2 apprentices. After giving instructions to Huang Laodao at the entrance of the tree cave, Zhang Yun directly charged into the group of brown bears with his sword, moving the Qingyuan step between the brown bears, stabbing them accurately in the vital points with each sword. Roar. Roar. A roar of pain sounded out, and the brown bears fell one after another. Gulu. Huang Laodao, who was standing at the entrance of the tree hole, couldn't help but swallow his saliva as he watched this scene. Monster. This ninth elder of Lingxian sect is simply a monster. The group of brown bears in front of us is composed of spiritual brown bears. Although their individual strength is only in the foundation building stage, they have rough skin and thick flesh. Even if Jin Danshi wants to kill, it will take a lot of effort. Fortunately for Zhang Yun, every sword in his hand could accurately find the vital points of these brown bears. One sword is like chopping melons and vegetables. In just a few blinks, nearly half of the dozens of brown bears were killed. This leisurely posture made Huang Laodao's scalp numb for a while. Powerful. This was the only feeling he felt at the moment. Could it be that this man really exists beyond the Nascent Soul Stage? Huang Laodao couldn't help but have a hint of reverence in his eyes when he looked at Zhang Yun. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng in the tree hole were looking with admiration at Zhang Yun, who was strolling among the brown bears. Their master is so awesome. Roar. At this moment, a bear roar with astonishing volume suddenly came from deep in the forest. Spirit Fairy Chapter 38 Golden Core Stage Spirit Beast. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Several people were startled. Boom. 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 I saw a huge figure 6 or 7 meters long walking out of the woods, shaking the ground with each step. It was a giant brown bear. Spirit Brown Bear King, Huang Laodao's expression changed when he saw this. Zhang Yun's eyes immediately started to use the immortal eye technique. Spirit Brown Bear King, cultivation, golden elixir stage Xiaocheng, weaknesses, slow movements, fragile pupils. Its pupils can severely damage it during an attack, weakening its physical defense. Golden core stage Spirit Beast. Zhang Yun was surprised and his eyes lit up. Golden elixir stage spiritual beast, this is a treasure. Not to mention the crystal core in his body, the skin and flesh of the body in front of him is estimated to be worth several thousand spirit stones. Immediately, he didn't care about killing the brown bear in front of him, and rushed towards the golden elixir stage brown bear king with his sword. Male. Seeing Zhang Yun rushing towards the spiritual brown bear king with excitement on his face, Huang Laodao opened his mouth and hesitated, but in the end he remained silent. The spiritual brown bear king of the golden core stage can be regarded as the dominant figure in the Nanfeng forest. Its physical defense is extremely astonishing. Even if a cultivator at the peak of the golden core stage attacks with all his strength, it will be difficult to break through his skin and flesh. Huang Laodao encountered this once before. He attacked with all his strength and failed to even break through the fur of the spiritual brown bear king. In the end, he had no choice but to run away. My first reaction when I saw it now was to run away. But looking at Zhang Yun's excited expression and thinking about the latter's strength, he hesitated. But the spiritual energy still surged in the soles of the feet, ready to run away at any time. Although Zhang Yun gave him a strong feeling, was there really any way to deal with this rough-skinned and thick-skinned spiritual brown bear king? Puff! Hoo! Just as he was thinking about it, the painful roar of the spirit brown bear king suddenly came to his ears. Huang Laodao was stunned, and when he raised his eyes, he saw that Zhang Yun had jumped in front of the spiritual brown bear king's head, and the sword blade in his hand accurately penetrated the brown bear king's big pupils. Bang! The huge body of the spirit brown bear king collapsed and rolled in the woods in great pain. Huang Laodao was confused, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng were shocked. Ho ho ho! Many brown bears in the foundation building stage were also confused. What's going on? How come their king was stabbed down by this human with just one sword? Zhang Yun doesn't care what they think. At this moment, taking advantage of the fact that his illness was killing him, he aimed 2 more swords at the eyes of the spiritual brown bear king. Then he aimed his sword at the brown bear's chest and stabbed it in with all his strength. The sword blade was slightly hindered when it penetrated into the flesh, but it could be seen that the flesh of the spirit brown bear king had obviously softened, so he pierced it with a little more force. The spiritual energy attached to the sword blade was like a twisted blade, and exploded directly in the heart of the spiritual brown bear king. Hoo! Following the sound of the spirit brown bear king's feet, which sounded like crying, its huge body completely collapsed, and its vitality quickly disappeared. Zhang Yun breathed out. Kill the golden elixir stage spirit beast and get 50 points. That I was a little surprised to see the message on the training bracelet, 50 points. Wait, are there extra points for the killing golden elixir phase? He raised his eyebrows slightly. When I came in before, the head of the Nanshan sect did not specifically mention the extra points for killing the golden elixir stage spiritual beast. Also, the golden elixir stage is not like the qi refining stage and the foundation building stage, which are divided into 1 to 10 levels, but is divided into Xiaocheng, Deshang and Peak. If you really want to calculate it, it's really hard to add up these points. 50 points is quite a lot, with the addition of this group of brown bears. I guess the ranking should be much higher. Thinking about this, Zhang Yun cast his eyes towards the dozen or so foundation building stage brown bears left in the field. When these brown bears saw him looking over, they were frightened and dispersed like birds and beasts. But how could Zhang Yun let these points go? Qin Yuanbu stepped forward at full speed and charged forward with a sword strike. In just half a minute, there was only a brown bear carcass left in the surrounding woods under the darkness. Old Huang, come here and collect the body. Zhang Yun greeted. Okay, sir. Huang Laodao, who had been standing at the entrance of the tree hole for a long time, woke up after hearing the words, nodded quickly and stepped forward. Minger, little fat guy, come here too. Zhang Yun waved. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng reacted and quickly stepped forward to the huge corpse of the spiritual brown bear king. Zhang Yun said, come on, go up and try to take out the crystal core from it, that when Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng heard this, they both stepped forward with excitement on their faces. Etc. Huang Laodao, who was collecting the corpse of the foundation building brown bear on the side, couldn't help shouting when he saw this. But it was too late. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng had already touched the body of the spirit brown bear king. Roar! A deep bear roar suddenly came from the huge corpse of the spiritual brown bear king, and a terrifying spiritual power filled the air. Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng were both shocked. Huang Laodao looked at the corner of his mouth and twitched. Spirit beasts at the golden core stage are different from spirit beasts below the golden core stage. After the death of a spirit beast of this level, there will be residual spirits left in the body. It will not disappear within a certain period of time. Once someone who is not meant to be killed approaches, the remnant spirit will release a coercive roar to express resistance. If the strength is not much different from it, there will be no problem. But Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng in front of them were only in the qi refining stage. The coercion exuded by the remnant spirit of the golden core age spirit brown bear king was enough to shock their souls into idiots. Looking at Zhang Yun next to him, Huang Laodao was full of confusion. This is common sense and the former should not be unaware of it. Hold head high. Ah! Just as he was thinking about it, a dragon roar and a roar suddenly sounded. Huang Laodao was stunned. I saw only a golden dragon phantom exuding dragon power, a humanoid phantom exuding domineering power and dominating the world. At this moment, they respectively appeared on Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng. The little coercion exuded by the spiritual brown bear king was instantly annihilated under these two pressures. At the same time, these two forces of coercion spread. Huang Laodao, who was standing not far away, felt his body tremble, and felt that the spiritual energy in his body was stagnant for a moment. Suddenly he looked at Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng in shock. What the hell is this? Why do such phantoms appear on these two qi refining stages? Etc. Is it a special constitution? Huang Laodao swallowed as he looked at the golden dragon spiritual energy and overlord true energy permeating the bodies of Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng. Just because of his cultivation in the qi refining stage, the coercion exuded can make him feel that the spiritual energy in his body is stagnant in this golden pill stage. What kind of heaven-defying physiques do these two people possess? Looking at Zhang Yun, who was standing next to the body of the spiritual brown bear king with a calm expression, he understood. No wonder the former dared to let Su Ming and the others get close to the corpse, and no wonder the former would accept these two qi refining stage disciples. Each of the three people in front of me is a monster. Huang Laodao thought of his status as a servant, and all the grudges in his heart disappeared. There is no shame in being a servant to such a monster. This is, on the corpse of the spiritual brown bear king, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng looked at the shadows appearing on their bodies, with a trace of surprise in their eyes. This is the talent that comes with your physique, feel it. If you can master it skillfully, your strength will be even higher. Zhang Yun spoke. Of course he knows the common sense about the bodies of golden elixir stage spirit beasts. He also asked Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng to come forward because the immortal master's heavenly eye suddenly gave him training suggestions just now, allowing Su Ming to get close to the corpse to stimulate the hidden potential of the body. He absolutely believed in the immortal master's heavenly eye, but he was also prepared. If Su Ming and the two were unable to support themselves, he would immediately take action to throw them away. Hearing Zhang Yun's words, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng both looked stern, and immediately closed their eyes to feel the shadows on their bodies. Old Huang. Zhang Yun waved to Huang Laodao. Huang Laodao immediately came forward and asked respectfully, "What are your orders, master?" Zhang Yun said, "Go and look around. Since this group of brown bears has appeared, there should be a nest nearby, and there may be something left in it." "My subordinate understands." Huang Laodao nodded and immediately ran towards the surrounding woods. Seeing his obviously respectful attitude, Zhang Yun smiled slightly. The performance of combat power just now clearly convinced this guy. He didn't pay too much attention. He was determined and he wasn't afraid that this guy had different intentions. After looking at Su Ming and his two men who were sitting cross-legged on the body of the spiritual brown bear king with their eyes closed, Zhang Yun also walked up, took out a sharp blade and stabbed it into the back of the neck of the spiritual brown bear king's body. As the skin and flesh were scraped open with his dagger, a flash of crystal light soon appeared. It was a milky white crystal core the size of a pebble, golden elixir stage spirit beast crystal core, quality, complete, introduction, contains rich spiritual energy, which can be used to make formations, spiritual weapons, puppets and other objects, or can be directly refined and absorbed during practice. Fairyland Chapter 39 Cub. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Looking at the information brought by the immortal master Sky Eye, Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows, took out a box and packed the crystal core. This complete crystal nucleus is of considerable value. The crystal nuclei on the puppets like those encountered in the underground cave before were already incomplete. Even if Zhang Yun doesn't destroy it, it will be difficult to use it again after taking it out. After putting away the crystal core, Zhang Yun leaned on the corpse and waited silently. Within 2 minutes, the shadows on Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng disappeared one after another, and they opened their eyes one after another. There was a hint of joy in their eyes. How? Zhang Yun asked. Wu Xiaopeng was the first to say, Master, I feel like I absorbed part of the energy of that phantom, and my strength has increased a lot. Yeah, Zhang Yun said, then I will find you a spiritual beast at the peak of the Qi refining stage tomorrow to try. The peak of Qi refining period. Wu Xiaopeng opened his mouth, but after thinking about it, he clenched his fist. Master, I am confident to fight. Zhang Yun smiled slightly and looked at Su Ming. Su Ming said, Master, I feel like I can summon the shadow just now again. Oh? Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows and said immediately, try it. Su Ming nodded and immediately closed his eyes. Around him, strands of golden dragon spiritual energy filled the air, and a dragon's power gradually spread from light to strong. Hold head high. A few seconds later, Su Ming suddenly raised his head and let out a dragon roar. A golden dragon shadow filled with dragon power suddenly emerged from his body. Although it was a bit blurry, the dragon's power it exuded made the air within 100 meters radius become somewhat depressing. Some ants and mosquitoes within this range were killed on the spot by the pressure. Oh my God! Wu Xiaopeng's face was full of surprise. He thought that he had absorbed a part of the shadow energy and had gained a lot. Unexpectedly, Su Ming could directly summon the phantom again. Senior brother is so awesome. Mutated golden dragon shadow, physical talent, flaw, the releaser's cultivation is too weak and the duration is limited, lasting up to 2 minutes. Improvement suggestions, only for apprentices. Improve your cultivation as soon as possible, practice more and extend the maintenance time. Zhang Yun looked at the immortal eye technique, nodded slightly and said, that's right. But Ming'er, you shouldn't be able to maintain this shadow for too long, right? Su Ming felt it and said, Master, I feel that I can maintain this state for about 2 minutes. Exercise more every day, Zhang Yun warned. However, when facing the enemy, don't use this trick lightly. It consumes too much. It can be regarded as a trump card at critical moments. Su Ming nodded and immediately faded away. Looking at Fatty Wu who was staring at Su Ming with eyes full of little stars, Zhang Yun said, Little Fatty, don't just worship your senior brother. If you train hard, you can do this in the future. Disciple understands. Wu Xiaopeng nodded. Sir, you two young masters, please come and take a look. At this time, Huang Laodao's cry suddenly came from the woods nearby. Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows, put away the body of the spiritual brown bear king with an empty storage ring, and followed the sound with Su Ming and others. I saw Huang Laodao standing in front of the entrance of a large underground cave when he saw 3 people coming. At this he said and jumped down immediately. Zhang Yun and the others followed. This is a huge cave, no less wide than a modern factory building. There are a lot of bear hairs scattered on the ground, and the surrounding air is filled with a fishy smell. It is obviously the den of the spiritual brown bear from before. Woo! Before they had time to observe further, a slight whimpering sound came from their ears, which immediately attracted the attention of Zhang Yun and the others. At the corner of the cave, there was a nest about the size of 2 people hugging each other. Inside, there were 2 palm-sized bear cubs looking at them in confusion with their little heads. Spirit brown bear king cub, cultivation level, 2nd level of Qi refining stage. Weaknesses. In the early stage of development, it is relatively weak, especially the pupils. Suggestions for subduing the bear cub. Exclusively for spirit beast cubs. Giving it a drop of blood will make the bear cub feel close to the owner of the blood and treat it as a close person. If it is blood with a special constitution, it will be tamed faster. Development potential. After being cultivated to adulthood, it can grow into a golden elixir stage spiritual beast. If you can take special elixirs, you can hope to break through the shackles and reach a higher level. Golden elixir stage spiritual beast cub. The information brought by the immortal master's heavenly eye made Zhang Yun's eyes light up. This kind of spiritual beast cub is rare to see. Because it is easier to tame spirit beast cubs, and they can become golden elixir stage spirit beasts when they are raised to adulthood, which is very attractive to some animal taming monks. On the market, any one of them would be worth tens of thousands of spiritual stones. After thinking for a while, Zhang Yun looked at Su Ming and Wu Xiaopang. Ming'er, Xiaopang, are you interested in raising spiritual beasts? The two were startled, but quickly realized what they were doing, and immediately looked at the two brown bear cubs. Master, I'm interested. Wu Xiaopang's eyes shone and he spoke immediately. Su Ming hesitated. Zhang Yun looked at him. Ming'er, aren't you interested? Su Ming was silent for a moment and said, Master, this spiritual beast is good. But with my current situation, I'm afraid I won't be able to raise it. Whether you can afford it or not has nothing to do with whether you are interested or not. Zhang Yun said calmly, if you are interested, just keep it. Raising a spiritual beast is actually an incentive for monks. It can increase your desire to obtain resources. Su Ming perked up after hearing this. Looking at the two timid bear cubs huddled in the den, his heart couldn't help but move. He bit his lip and said with determination in his eyes, Master, I want to raise him. Okay, then you and Xiaopang are both on one side. Zhang Yun waved his hand. Wu Xiaopang couldn't wait any longer and rushed forward. His approach made the two bear cubs look frightened, and they lowered their heads and shrank back into their nests. The cute look with its butt stuck out and its head lowered as if no one could see it, made Wu Xiaopang cute and he immediately picked one out. Wu. The bear cub was carried out and couldn't help resisting, and its little claws directly scratched Wu Xiaopang's robe. Wu Xiaopang was so frightened that he subconsciously released his spiritual energy, snapped. The bear cub was blown away and fell heavily into the bear's den, screaming in pain. This. Wu Xiaopang was a little panicked when he saw this. Little fatty, although he is a cub, you cannot hold him directly like this before you get close to him. Zhang Yun said, feed it a drop of your blood and it will feel close to you. Blood? Fatty Wu was startled, and immediately bit his finger, turned over the bear cub that was knocked away by his spiritual energy and fell into the nest, and when it opened its mouth, he forced out a drop of blood from his finger and sent it in. Wu. After eating blood, the struggling body of the bear cub suddenly trembled, then those small eyes looked at Wu Xiaopang. From the initial resistance and fear, it gradually became a little complicated, and then it was a kind of shrinking and inexplicable respect. Wu Xiaopang felt that there seemed to be an extra connection between him and the bear cub. Feeling that the bear cub seemed less resistant, he immediately reached out and picked it up. As expected, the bear cub did not resist anymore, but instead showed a docile attitude towards the embrace. This. Huang Laodao looked at him with surprise on his face and couldn't help but look at Zhang Yun. Master, are you an animal trainer? No. Zhang Yun shook his head. Then you. It's just a bit of common sense about animal training, nothing to make a fuss about. Common sense? Huang Laodao grinned. He has been in Nanyuan Prefecture for many years and has never heard of such common sense, giving blood to spirit beast cubs. I didn't expect that there was such a way to tame animals. It seems that Zhang Yun has traveled to many places, maybe he has common knowledge about animal taming in other places. Boss is just different. Huang Laodao looked at Zhang Yun with even more reverence. Woo 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 woo. At this time, a whimpering sound filled with fear came, and another bear cub was seen, kneeling in front of Su Ming as if worshipping the emperor. Su Ming looked surprised. He hadn't fed him blood yet, but as soon as he got closer and released some breath, the bear cub knelt in front of him as if he were a king. Seeing the bear cub's posture, he tried to reach out and pick it up. Facing his embrace, the bear cub seemed extremely docile and showed no resistance at all. This. Next to him, Fatty Wu looked confused. why is this bear cub so docile even though he hasn't been fed blood? Huang Laodao on the side also looked surprised. Zhang Yun was not surprised. Su Ming's dragon blood holy body is of dragon blood, and dragons belong to the emperor among spiritual beasts. For this kind of spiritual beast cub that is not yet fully developed, feeling Su Ming's aura is like seeing an emperor who cannot be offended. With Su Ming's physique, it would be very easy to become an animal trainer. It's late at night, let's go back to the tree hole and rest for the night. Looking at the crescent moon hanging high in the sky, Zhang Yun jumped out of the bear's den as he spoke. Su Ming and the others followed and returned to the tree hole where they were just now. Although this bear cave can be temporarily settled, the smell is too strong. There is also a bit of a tree hole, but at least it is acceptable. In the square outside Nanfeng Forest, there were still a large number of people gathering here under night, but the huge square was so quiet at the moment that you could hear a pin drop. One after another stared blankly at the line of information at the top of the crystal control monument. The first place is the 9th elder of Lingxian sect. Points, 1003. 4 digits. This strange elder's points have actually exceeded 4 digits. Hiss. The next second, gasps of cold air resounded one after another in the field. Everyone was shocked. Obviously a few minutes ago, Zhang Yun's points were only 355. But just after the sudden surge, not to mention rushing to the first place, the points were like a wild horse, rushing upward crazily. After a few minutes, it turned into 4 digits. What good thing did Zhang Yun do in the forest? Everyone present was in disbelief. At the end of the day, he scored more than 300 points. As a result, it was just a few minutes after nightfall, and it hit 1,000 points. This is impossible. Everyone on the Nanshan sect side looked in disbelief. Obviously their Nanshan sect elder has always been in the lead. Why could this strange elder from Lingxian sect overtake the first place in an instant? Could it be a fake? Yes, fake. Lingxian sect, did you weird elders make a fake? Did you prepare a group of dying spiritual beasts in the forest in advance? For a moment, everyone in Nanshan sect questioned the people looking at Lingxian sect. Fake. Everyone in the Lingxian sect was stunned when they heard this. They were also confused as to why Zhang Yun could score so quickly. At this moment, they hesitated for a while when they heard this question. Let me go, is the Lingxian sect really a fraud? I think it's possible. Otherwise, how could this weird elder's points rise so fast? This hesitation caused everyone in the venue to talk about it and pointed their fingers at the Lingxian sect. Nonsense. The leader of the Lingxian sect gave a cold shout at this time, looked at the people of the Nanshan sect and said, our sect just learned about this exchange meeting between the two sects 5 days ago. Where can we find the time to prepare a group of spiritual beasts who are about to die? It's hard to say. Someone from Nanshan sect spoke. Shut up. Before the leader of the Lingxian sect could refute, the leader of the Nanshan sect had already scolded him. The people of Nanshan sect were a little confused. Doesn't the sect leader think it's fake? The head of the Nanshan sect remained silent, because Mu Wenxuan, who was sitting next to the crystal control monument, stood up and spoke. As for the fraud, please don't worry. All the experience bracelets used in this two-sect exchange meeting are equipped with the function of recording and taking pictures of hunting spirit beasts. To put it simply, when the wearer kills the spirit beast, it will be recorded. The entire hunting of spirit beasts will be obtained. The scoring process will be recorded. Therefore, whether there is any fraud can be directly checked through the experience bracelet after the completion. After a pause, he added apologetically, I didn't mention this before. It was my mistake and I forgot to mention it. I hope everyone can forgive me. Hearing this, everyone raised their eyebrows. With this function, you don't have to worry about fraud. The leader of the Lingxian sect frowned when he heard this, and looked back and forth between Mu Wenxuan and the leader of the Nanshan sect, feeling secretly cold in his heart. If he guessed correctly, it was not that Mu Wenxuan forgot to mention it, but that he wanted to cooperate with the master of Nanshan sect to slap their Lingxian sect in the face afterwards. After all, if the elders of the Lingxian sect fail to even enter the top 10, then the Lingxian sect may have doubts about whether the Nanshan sect is committing fraud. Later, Mu Wenxuan and the master of the Nanshan sect will cooperate with each other to use this function to confirm a perfect face-slapping process. Thinking about the leader of the Lingxian sect, his heart became even colder. The relationship between Mu Wenxuan and Nanshan sect seems to be closer than he imagined. The head of the Nanshan sect also didn't look good. In order to completely suppress the Lingxian sect this time, he was fully prepared. Mu Wenxuan specifically asked Mu Wenxuan not to announce this function in advance, just to wait for the Lingxian sect to question the fraud and then slap him in the face. Unexpectedly, it was Nanshan sect who first questioned Lingxian sect's fakeness. He wanted to keep hiding it, but Mu Wenxuan obviously can't. The Nanzangbo Pavilion sponsored 2 exchange meetings this time to promote the experience bracelet. At this moment, everyone mentioned the fraud. If Mu Wenxuan didn't stand up and explain, it would be too ridiculous to use forgetfulness as an excuse afterwards. At that time, everyone might suspect that their Nanzangbao Pavilion is colluding with the Nanshan sect. In short, the move arranged by the head of the Nanshan sect is like a white cloth. It makes me miserable just thinking about him. What happened? Ever since this exchange meeting began, things have not gone well for him, from Qiu Lu not scoring, then Zhang Yun clearly stopped scoring again after being attacked, and then their great elder inexplicably started not scoring. These were all out of his control. He is just a foundation-building elder of Lingxian sect. How can he do this? Also, where did the Lin family go? According to the prior agreement, in order to prevent the Lingxian sect from noticing, the Lin family should take action during the day. And regardless of success or failure, the message will be delivered before night, but until now, he has not received any news. For a moment, he couldn't help but look at Mu Wenxuan. The latter was also frowning at this moment. With the strength of the Lin family, they should be able to deal with a foundation-building stage and 2 chi-refining stage disciples with ease. Even if there is an accident, it shouldn't be difficult to escape. Why has there been no news yet? Couldn't you get away? Even, died? Mu Wenxuan and the head of the Nanshan sect looked at each other, with a hint of solemnity in their eyes. If that were the case, that would be a big deal. Chapter 40, Rapid Progress. You are listening at novelfold.audio. The next day, early in the morning. Let's go. Zhang Yun led Su Ming and the others out of the tree hole, holding a crystal mirror in their hands. This crystal mirror was found from the Nanshan sect's elder's storage ring. It was the same style that the Lin family found for him and his 2 disciples. However, the 3 red dots on this mirror did not correspond to him and his 2 apprentices. He didn't know who the red dot pointed to, but he paid special attention to it. Early this morning, I noticed that the 3 red dots on the mirror began to move. It means he is still alive. It happened that the location of the 3 red dots on the mirror was not far from them, so I was ready to go and have a look, killing spirit beasts along the way and moving forward. It took about half an hour to get close to 3 red dots, flying on a big tree. You can see a group of 3 people entangled with several spiritual beasts in an open space in the forest from a distance. Great Elder. After seeing clearly, Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows. The leader of the 3 was surprisingly the great elder of their Lingxian sect, and the other 2 were his disciples. Monitor. These 2 words came to his mind. The great elder of Nanshan sect is using this crystal mirror to monitor their great elder of Lingxian sect. Are you preparing to find an opportunity to attack? Zhang Yun was slightly confused. Sir, that seems to be the great elder of your Lingxian sect. Do you want to say hello? Huang Laodao spoke from the side. He had met the great elder of Lingxian sect several times, and he recognized him now. No. Zhang Yun shook his head. He has a normal relationship with the great elder of Lingxian sect and came here just out of curiosity. I don't want to have too much contact with the other party, because of the poison found in his body before. Although everything pointed to Meng Zhong, after calming down, he always felt that something was unusual. Meng Zhong is too conspicuous. It seems like everything is done by the other party, which is a bit strange. Meng Zhong will deal with him, that's for sure. But he was not sure if there was anyone else besides Meng Zhong. Therefore, he could not rule out suspicion for other elders of Lingxian sect. In short, until the investigation is clear, he will remain wary of other elders of the same sect. Thinking of this, Zhang Yun said, Old Huang, don't follow us anymore. Ah. Huang Laodao was stunned. Zhang Yundao, I need you to do something for me. Huang Laodao reacted and immediately said, Master, please give me your instructions. That after seeing a series of special things about Zhang Yun, he was now completely convinced of Zhang Yun. Working under such a mysterious boss may not be a bad thing for him, it may even be an opportunity. Leave Nanfeng Forest and go to Nanyuan City to help me keep an eye on the Lin family. The Lin family in Nanyuan City. Huang Laodao was startled. Zhang Yun said calmly, keep an eye on them and see what movements they have made recently. If there is any big movement, notify me as soon as possible. My subordinate understands. Although he was a little confused, Huang Laodao didn't ask any more questions, nodded and left. Master. Seeing this, Su Ming couldn't help but speak. With those people dead before, the Lin family is likely to take action. Zhang Yundao, now that there is Lao Huang, I just sent him to have a look. If the Lin family comes, we can be prepared. Let's go, there are still 2 days left, we can't lose points. After saying that, Zhang Yun turned around and walked towards the forest. Su Ming and the others quickly followed. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, the exchange meeting has come to the last day. Ding! All elders, please note that the exchange meeting will officially end in a quarter of an hour, and no points will be counted at that time. At the same time, please all elders to come out of Nanfeng Forest as soon as possible. After the exchange meeting, those who do not come out for more than 1 hour will be deemed to have given up. Looking at the message that suddenly popped up on the training bracelet, Zhang Yun raised his eyebrows. Looking forward, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng were facing a foundation-building spiritual beast, and said, Minger, Xiaopeng, hurry up and get ready to go out. Yes, Master. Hearing this, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng nodded. Hold head high. Su Ming immediately heard a golden dragon roar, and a golden dragon shadow filled with dragon power appeared on him. The dragon power emanating from it made the black tiger in front of him, who had a second-level cultivation of the foundation establishment stage, tremble, and his pupils revealed a bit of human astonishment. Dragon. This human has the blood of the holy dragon. Without any hesitation, Black Tiger turned around and ran away, facing a human with the blood of the holy dragon. Even if his cultivation is weaker than it is not something it can easily handle, but how could Su Ming let it go? With the blessing of the golden dragon's shadow, Su Ming's all-round combat power was greatly improved. At this time, he stepped forward and quickly caught up with the black tiger like a golden lightning. Raising your hand is a sword, Kang. Black Tiger quickly raised his claws to block, but the stronger force from Su Ming's sword knocked the claws away. Su Ming took the opportunity to thrust his sword out, accurately finding the key point of Black Tiger's pupil, and stabbed directly into it with a poof. Hu! Black Tiger immediately cried out in pain and fell down. Su Ming quickly struck the Black Tiger with a few swords, stabbing him in the vital part and finishing him off. The other side, Wu Xiaopeng, who was dealing with a white wolf, a level 1 spiritual beast in the foundation establishment stage, was also shaken at this moment, and a circle of overlord chi spread across his body. Die! Wu Xiaopeng shouted loudly, raised his hand and punched the air with Bawang Jinchi, and hit the white wolf head-on. The white wolf was startled. In the previous battle, this fat human being was timid in front of it, so why did it suddenly explode? Wu Xiaopeng didn't care what Bai Lang thought. He punched with all his strength. He directly blasted all the white wolf's defenses head-on, and hit the vital part of the white wolf's abdomen with an extremely powerful punch, peng. Along with a rain of blood exploding in the void, the white wolf's entire body was directly exploded, leaving a broken body that fell to the ground. Master, it's done. After putting away the bodies, Su Ming and Wu Xiaopeng immediately came to Zhang Yun's side. Zhang Yun looked at them with a satisfied smile on his face. Although it had only been 3 days, the improvement in the strength of his 2 disciples was visible to the naked eye. When they first entered the forest and faced the chi refining stage alone, it was a bit difficult. Now, both of them are able to independently leapfrog and kill the foundation establishment stage spirit beasts. I have to say that the holy level qualifications are indeed powerful. Without stopping for a long time, he immediately took off his sword and took the 2 disciples with him as he galloped away from the Nanfeng Forest. In the square outside Nanfeng Forest, the first place is the 9th elder of Lingxian sect. Points, 3,305 points. The second place is the third elder of Nanshan sect. Points, 1605 points. The third place is the fourth elder of Nanshan sect. Points, 1588 points. The seventh one is the great elder of Lingxian sect. Points, 1350 points. 10th place, the second elder of Lingxian sect. Points, 1138 points. Looking at the rankings on the Crystal Control Monument, the atmosphere in the field was completely polarized. The Lingxian sect was full of joy, the Nanshan sect was gloomy. Although 7 of the top 10 are Nanshan sect elders, this is no longer the point. Because the most important first place is currently occupied by Lingxian sect, and the points difference with the second place has been nearly doubled. With only a quarter of an hour left, it is impossible to be surpassed. It's so awesome, the strange elder. Since the sudden surge 2 days ago, it has been leading all the way until now. What kind of weird elder? That's the 9th elder of my sect. Don't say that the 9th elder is weird again. Yes, it's the 9th elder. The 9th elder is mighty. That everyone in Lingxian sect laughed and chatted with each other. Although the first place candidate was a bit unexpected, no matter what, it was Lingxian sect who won the first place. The leader of Lingxian sect also smiled. He glanced at Nanshan sect master and Mu Wenxuan not far away. Seeing the gloomy expressions on both of them, he was in a particularly good mood. You have been planning for so long, but you probably never expected this result, right? Huaying Dan, it's enough to make you feel distressed for a while, that my heart hummed. But what's going on with this kid? Looking at the score of 3,305 on the control monument, the leader of the Lingxian sect was also slightly confused. Although he was already in the foundation building stage, he tortured his second disciple. It's good now. Within 3 days of the exchange meeting, the points were more than double the lead of the second place. How did you do it? He was really curious. Not far away, the head of Nanshan sect has an extremely ugly face. The Huaying pill has been in the pocket of their Nanshan sect from the beginning, and it can be regarded as one of the explicit rewards Mu Wenxuan gave their Nanshan sect this time. Now this reward is going to fly away. He couldn't accept it. But with the points gap at this moment, he knew there was no possibility of catching up. There is only one way. We can't let this kid come out. The head of the Nanshan sect was heartbroken, and gently touched his chest and lapel, and a stream of spiritual energy poured into a sound transmission stone placed in the lapel.